Yeah, hey, Eric, congratulations. Yeah, what I just asked Hunter, I mean, obviously you want to make money for yourself and your family and take care of them as best you can, but was it important to you that your salary reflects, the job you're doing?
I mean, I would say not really, Bob. I mean, it might be to my to my wife, um, but I mean, Hunter, throughout the whole process, I mean, Hunter and I we continue to communicate and talk, and um, certainly, I think everybody, you know, wants to, feel appreciated, and I felt much appreciated before this contract got done. So, my family and I are, more than happy and grateful. But we did feel that way, prior to. I mean, Hunter said it. This is a great basketball job. Feel really fortunate to have given, just to get the opportunity 24 months ago. Um, so I guess the biggest thing is just, we're appreciative. My wife's happy here. We're happy here. And we're just happy that Hunter believes in us moving forward.
And I know you probably don't want to mention specifics, but how many schools did your agent hear from? Um, about, hey, we want to see if Eric wants to be our coach.
I mean, not many, because he knew how I felt. Um, and look, I mean, I love being here. My wife loves being here. My daughter, my son on staff. Um, when you coach whether you're coaching in the NBA, it comes down to, to your owner and your general manager. And in college, a lot, it comes down to your chancellor and your president and your athletic director. And just being able to have a communication line like I do with Hunter is more than valuable. And then just the Razorback brand, nationally. I mean, right now, coming off the season that we just had, and laying the foundation that the student athletes did last year in year one, we have a really, really strong brand nationally. And there was a strong brand before I got here, and there'll always be a strong brand. So to me, this is a premier job. And in a very, very short time, we've met a lot of friends too outside the athletic department that make it a really comfortable place for my wife and daughter. And so, I mean, there was, some maybe calls, Bob, but nothing that, nothing that was anything more than that. It was really about how do Hunter and I come to an agreement that everybody feels comfortable with.
And was the San Diego clause, was that your idea? Was that just kind of a nod to your alma mater, or what's the deal with that?
I think that's a great phrase, a nod to my alma mater. And I got to be honest with you guys. I have a group thread. There's 9 of us that all played together, and they're going to be really happy when they see that, because no one thought that I would actually put that in there or ask Hunter to put it in there. So there's a lot of burritos that are owed to me when I go back for a 3 or 4 day vacation in San Diego. And yes, it was just kind of a nod to, to the place that I went to school. And I don't think that University of San Diego is going to be competing with the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Thanks. You ought to at least schedule 'em. Thanks, Eric.
Dudley.
Obviously, you got some recruits out of the portal. Just talk about what you were looking for to fill back in on the roster, and are you still looking to add any more?
Yeah, Dudley. I mean, I think that, we wanted to try to get, some guys that would fit in with some of our returners. Obviously, the way that Devo Davis ended the season, and the way that Jalen Williams ended the season, for the entire season, JD Notae proved that, that he had incredible scoring ability, and obviously Connor Vanover had a really good start to the season. So we just kind of took all these, returning pieces, and then tried to go out and find guys that would really complement them. And we really, really, felt like we wanted a dynamic guy, that could score the ball at that point guard position. And obviously, we feel like Chris can do that for us because he's a proven player in the ACC. And then, DC Tony's a guy that is so versatile. He's great in transition. He's long, he's athletic. He can play the 2, he can play the 3, he can play the 4. He fits in our transition offense. He's a much improved 3-point shooter. And then Stanley, same thing, a guy that can play multiple positions. And, we lost a lot too. I mean, Justin Smith was really important to us, and Moses Moody. And, I just feel like, Jalen Tate's role. So we needed some veterans and some guys that could help. We still have a really young nucleus. And so those 3 guys are really going to be able to help us. And then we're excited about Chance Moore, an incoming freshman. And, but we're really excited. I think that, we'll continue to monitor what happens with the transfer portal, and even monitor, the high school guys as well. But we feel really good with where we are right now, roster wise. And I think a lot of, there's a lot of, everyone talks talent, but you want to have really, really good chemistry, and you want roles to align with each other. And right now I feel like we have that.
Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if you could maybe give us some insight on how the bus video that y'all posted last night came about. Whose idea was it, and who gets credit for that?
Social media team. They're awesome. I mean, there's 3 or 4 people that all behind the scenes, whether it's a, in-season football thing that they put, they're awesome. I mean, they're fun to be around. They're creative. I mean, basically they just told Hunter and I what to do, and we just kind of followed suit. Hunter and I can take credit for the picture the other night, but the videos is all the social media team. They really are like incredible, and that was all on them, Hutch.
And then also with the portal, having guys like Justin and Jalen that have had so much success in doing it at the big stage, like in the Elite 8, does that open more doors? Have you noticed that at all, that, more transfers are interested in Arkansas because of their success?
I think so. Playing on a big stage, I know that, almost everybody that we've recruited was familiar with, with our run, for sure. Maybe not in the regular season, but certainly in the NCAA tournament, that's really helped tremendously. And also with some players, it's hurt because some people are, they feel like the roster's too good for them. And you know what? Those are players that aren't going to fit in our culture anyhow. And then there's other guys that, like, they really want to play in a winning environment. They really want to get better every single day in practice. They're, the guys that have committed to us, they're really excited with playing with Devo and Jalen and JD and so on and so forth. So, but I think there's, when you win, there's a lot of great things, but then there are, a few recruits that maybe, for them, it's okay to play on a roster that maybe isn't looking to aspire, to advance deep. If you want to advance deep or try to advance deep in the tournament, come join us. We're ready for you.
Nate Allen.
Just sounds like, were you comfortable with the pace that this was done as far as the contract? It was done quickly, but yet not so quickly that you to distract you from the things you had to do of the portal and other things?
Yeah, Nate. I would say that, the timing was, it was awesome. Hunter allowed us to go build a roster, and, if anything, the timing was slightly, put on the back burner because we were trying to build the team, and Hunter understood, while we were playing, we wanted to focus on winning. Once the tournament ended, we were slightly behind in the portal because while we were playing, there was programs that were recruiting. We weren't able to, we tried to recruit when we were in that bubble, but it's hard to really get on a Zoom and be focused when you're getting ready to play Baylor. That your Zoom might not quite be as good. Your presentations might not be quite as good if you're trying to advance in that thing. So Hunter was incredible, with his patience and talking to me, and then talking to my agent and going back and forth. So from my perspective, my wife's perspective, the timing was, on a scale of 1 to 10 was a 10 out of 10, because it allowed us to focus on the season, and then it allowed us to focus on the portal. And then once we thought we had our roster stabilized, an agreement got done.
I guess too, in retrospect of the Final Four, do you all get any recruiting mileage out of playing Baylor better than the teams in the Final Four did?
I think that every game is, I think that over the last 2 years, you guys have heard me talk about every game's got its own identity, but certainly, once we were eliminated and we got to watch Baylor play the next 2 games, I think it put it in perspective, because a lot of the players were texting me, hey, if we would have made this, 3 ball at this juncture of the game, or how close we were. And, I think really what happened is, we came out, we started off like we always did. We got behind and we were kind of shell shocked a little bit with the force that Baylor played at. And that's why they're a national championship team. But I've gone back, I've watched that tape way more than I would like to. I've watched that tape way more than my wife would prefer to have me on once the season's over. I'm still living on every possession that happened, and going back through decision-making and substitution patterns and play calls and defensive coverages. But we played Baylor, really tough. We really did. And I know we lost the game and they beat us clearly. But one shot goes down or one player gets hot, and you never know what could happen. But, we lost the game to a better team.
Thank you.
Hayden.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. I was just kind of wondering, a year ago, we're in the very beginning of this pandemic. You're losing your 2 best players from the season before to the draft, and we're looking at maybe not even having a season. To a year from now, you're signing a new contract, your family's happy. Do you take a minute and kind of think about that at all? Or is it just, all right, we're going back to the grind, we're going back to business?
Yeah, no, I think, it's for us, it was just, even during when we first got together, it was just, how do we continue to get better every day? We didn't flinch during the pandemic. The testing and everything that went on. Our guys had, great belief in one another, and just like there is in every season, there's ups and downs, and there's turning points, and there's, defining moments, and, we've gone through a lot of those, but it happens so quick, but that's kind of how a college basketball season goes. And we kept getting better. And that's why we put ourselves in the position to be playing in an Elite Eight. Is, this ball club, when other teams got tired, we kept getting better, and we kept coming in the gym, and guys kept getting reps. And I think it's just a credit to, the type of character and chemistry that we had.
Kyle.
Coach, I think it's interesting when you look at your career arc, you can almost break it into 2, where you grinded for a decade plus in the G League before, being rewarded as a head coach in the NBA. And then you had to really reinvent yourself in college, and you really took a step back. And I wonder, with those years in mind and having to really reinvent yourself, how personally rewarding is this?
I think just getting the opportunity that Hunter gave me, even, looking back, on the day that I was hired. I mean, Danielle, laughs all the time about, maybe places that I couldn't get an interview because, there was, for an NBA guy or somebody that coached in the minor leagues, you can't recruit, and do you really understand the college game? And, are you really going to embrace being on a college campus? We laugh about it all the time, because I can't wait to go to, a sporting event on campus. I'd like to talk to all the coaches of other sports here on campus and learn from them. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in the country that's happier and has more fun on a college campus than I do. I mean, whether it's, post game with the student section or, or going to a fraternity house or sorority house for, some event that they've invited us to. I mean, I love being on a college campus. It's just, in life, sometimes certain people are willing to give you an opportunity, and that's up to you and your staff and your players to take advantage of opportunities. And, Hunter's the first one that gave me a Power 5 job. So, I mean, the gratitude and like we owe it, to him. He gave us a platform to try to go out and be successful at this level. And no one can appreciate, this job more than I have. I mean, there's not a lot of coaches that have coached in Dominican Republic and Venezuela and put your ego aside and try to work your way up the ladder when you'd already been at a high level. So I promise you, like there's not a coach, there's not a family in the country that's more appreciative of the opportunity, because I've had the highest of highs and I've also had to grind from the bottom up and kind of start my career over. And I think that's also why we've had success too, because of the appreciation. When there's a lot of coaches that maybe haven't been fired before, I know what that feels like. I know you have to look back when you've been let go at a certain place and try to figure out a way to become a better coach and be a constant learner. And so I think all those things have really benefited me throughout my career.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach. Stanley Amude came to Bud, earlier in your first year. I don't remember a ton about him from that game, other than he was South Dakota's top guy. But what's kind of the scout on him? What made him a target for you guys, and where do you think he can benefit you guys the most?
Well, I think Stanley, he can do so much. He can post up against equal size or smaller players. He's got a great turnaround jump shot. He can make face-up threes. He can rebound the basketball, especially as a defensive rebounder. He's a good runner of the floor. He's in that perfect size range for us where we can play him at the off guard if we had to, and we wanted to be big and be a post-up team for a few possessions at the off guard spot. We can play him at a natural small forward or power forward, which we really don't call our guys power forwards or small forwards. They're basically wings. And that's where him and DC Tony come in. They're both wings that can complement each other, and we can kind of, depending on the defensive matchup, we can kind of play those guys in certain spots. But I think just the versatility, really, Scotty, of both those guys becomes really, really important for us as we look at, how the style we want to play, the pace that we want to play at, and then what we're going to do defensively as well.
Ty.
Eric, you spoke to Hunter Yurchek of being a great communicator. I know Dave Van Horn said the same thing. You think about kind of really Arkansas athletics is prospering right now. I know you've been taken care of as far as a raise goes. Do you think your boss deserves a raise considering where Arkansas athletics is in its current state right now?
There's zero doubt. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that working for Hunter, I can't imagine, working for anybody better because of the communication skills. The other thing too is we all lose games, and, when you get supported by somebody after a loss, or you still feel, great belief after a loss. I mean, I think it's, we're all excited after a win, but, and then the other thing is I feel Hunter's competitiveness, and some guys take, winning and losing at different levels. I mean, he actually is, no different than a coach. He hates to lose. You can feel it, when you're around him, which is awesome. Cause that means he wants to try to help us win as much as possible too. He's an aggressive winner, I would call it, just with his mentality, which, but what what this athletic department, I mean, just look around at the coaches and the student athletes on campus. And the thing is, like, he's always wanting to improve the department. You know, and when he has his head coaches meetings, I mean, we're more informed than any other head coaching group, I believe, in the country because of the communication skills. And, you know, when you're working for what you think is the best athletic director, you know, in the country, it makes it a really, really special place.
And you spoke about Baylor a little bit earlier. You've watched film since then. Hey, what sub could have done differently? Blah blah blah. And you look at the Big 12 SEC Challenge coming up, and I know Coach Ruda handles the schedule, and I know that's more of a Commissioner Bowlesby, Commissioner Sankey, television networks. But with them playing at home this past year, you guys playing on the road, would you like to potentially see Scott Drew's come to Fayetteville this next year?
I'd like to know his roster before I answer that, his final roster. But I mean, anytime anytime you play, you know, in that particular challenge, whether it's us or, you know, Alabama or Auburn or, you know, Georgia, you know, we all want the SEC to win as many games as we can, because certainly that helps once you get to March and the selection Sunday. So, I mean, I think that, you know, whoever we play is going to be a big time challenge. And we have so many new guys coming back. I'm not really sure what the extra motivation. I'm sure the fan base, you know, and some of the coaches and support staff and stuff, you know, will have a taste in their mouth about that loss. But I just think there's too many, you know, with the roster changeover and stuff. I'm not sure there'd be a whole lot of carryover, but whoever we play is going to be a challenge for sure. I mean, we saw that, you know, last year when we had to play on the road at Oklahoma State.
Hey, Mike, I've got to run to another commitment. So thank you guys all. Keep firing away with those questions to Coach Musselman. And Ty, thanks for that question. I'm going to get you Chancellor Steinmetz's phone number, by the way. Y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate it. We'll go to Bob. Don't see their hands raised, but if you have any other questions, please use the raise hand function. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, Eric, I know there were some rumors out there. Jeff Goodman just tweeted about Corey Williams going to Texas Tech. Could you confirm that? And what would be your comment on that?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what, not really sure what I can comment other than to say that, yes, Corey has spoken to, you know, another program, and you know, we anticipate him, you know, taking another job. I mean, Corey's incredible. You know, sometimes, you know, new opportunities and, you know, arise and you look at that as a new challenge. So, you know, we would anticipate him taking another job, and we're going to miss him because he was a big time part of our family for sure.
Well, I'm sure you'll have a lot of people calling you wanting to replace Corey. How do you approach? I mean, you obviously been busy recruiting players. Now you've got to fill in a coaching vacancy. Just how do you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, you always look internally. You know, and Earl Boykins is on staff. You know, he's a guy that certainly would be a great college coach. Coach Ruda, you know, is on staff, and you know, even some of the guys that are in the background, you know, Hayes Myers has been with us for a long time, and Pat Eckerman and Michael Musselman, all those guys aspire to be coaches. So I think, you know, I'd first just, you know, take a deep breath, look internally. And then, you know, I have a list of really just a few people, you know, that you kind of always have in the back of your mind if there's ever any change. And certainly when you win, you know, opportunities come up for staff members, and you know, we've had other guys interview for, you know, for head jobs that are on staff. And we've had, you know, there's been a lot of interest in a lot of people on our staff, which is a great thing. I mean, you know, everybody, when you, it's a great example of when you win, how everybody kind of benefits. And so, we'll just take our time, but move as quickly as we can, on having a full staff.
Do you have a timetable for, I want to have this person in place by such and such a date?
Not really. I mean, I think that, in the portal, I'm probably the lead recruiter. And so that's not going to change. I mean, it's Danielle and I haven't gone on a vacation. The season's over. I mean, I've been in working on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'll continue to be the lead recruiter for the portal. It'll probably always be that way. I think that I need help, and when we get to the high school, and certainly we need help in the portal. But now that we're our roster's taken shape, I don't think we need to be in a huge hurry. Obviously, we have finals coming up, and we're not going to have our players do anything on the basketball floor while finals is coming, and then obviously they get a little bit of break, and then we come back right around May 24th, and that May 24th is when we get back in this gym and we start a journey, that's really going to begin once that first semester of summer school starts.
I've got one more kind of a fun one, although I'm sure all my questions are fun for you. Was it you or Danielle that decided to go over to Hunter's house? And did you guys bring the champagne, or did Hunter have a stash there in his wine cellar or whatever? Or how did that whole thing come about with you guys going over there and having the toast?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of waiting on word that that it was kind of final. I feel uncomfortable talking about stuff, and Hunter and I had an initial meeting, and then Hunter and our agent kind of talked, and then when we got final word, it was a little bit late. But I actually said to Danielle, let's go over to Hunter's and let's just ring his doorbell, give him and Jennifer a quick hug, and then we can head back home. But I just wanted to give him a hug and thank him. And then Danielle said, well, we got to bring champagne. And so we actually stayed a little bit longer and later than maybe what Hunter wanted me to do that night. But we did have a quick celebration and a big hug and a big thank you.